being noon on Tuesday?
October 30th.
Wednesday, October 30th. Good, I don't know what day it is. I call the zoning bylaw study committee to order, and we have a fairly small agenda, which we'll discuss. First and foremost, we need to reorganize. Do I have a motion for a chairman?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to make Richard Rosen the chairman.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. The first thing on the agenda is
Need a vice chair.
I move that we go ahead.
No,
I move that we appoint Timothy P. Travis vice chair.
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Stand.
So, we don't, just so everybody understands, is the zoning bylaw committee does not come up with ideas and things to do. The zoning bylaw study committee acts on stuff that has been sent to us. Oh man, the former chairman arrives.
What's up?
That we
How you doing? How you doing?
we don't act.
Another old friend from the business.
Mr. Lina, I mean, so Lynn Basie, you just got voted out as chairman.
I'm good with that.
How are you?
How are you?
How much did that lock go for you? Let's see.
265.
So, as I was saying, that the zoning bylaw study committee does not sit here and come up with ideas of their own and try to pass bylaws based on what we think. The zoning bylaw study committee historically acts on requests from other boards, other members, townspeople. We review them and go through the process. One of the ones that we did last year was the marijuana bylaw, which was brought to us. Again, we don't sit at home at night and go, oh, let's do this. So the one thing that we're going to do today is we were asked by the Board of Selectmen to address the meeting start time of town meeting. The bylaw that we have currently says that the meeting shall commence at 7:30. Well, as we all get older, don't have that many people that go to town meeting, number one, and a lot of people want the meetings at noon, which we're not going to do, unless someone wants us to. So this was brought up to us some months ago, and we've done some research, and Scott Lambiase gave us a copy of the bylaw from the town of Duxbury, and it's attached to your package. To me, it makes a lot of sense because it says the annual town meeting and town elections. The annual town meeting shall be held on the second Saturday in March of each year at the hour and location designated. So I think Scott was right in saying we don't actually, as a bylaw committee, have to set a time. I think what we would do was duplicate what they have done and then leave it in the hands of the Board of Selectmen and let them decide whether they want to meet at noon, 5, 6, 7, whatever day it is. Back in the day, we used to meet in April. Town election was in April, town meeting was in April, and somehow it got changed to May.
Everybody used to get hokey, I guess, about sheet numbers, cherry sheet numbers.
I think
Right,
that they
push it
didn't
up.
like standing out in the street corner when it was snowing out, campaigning to become a selectman, which, by the way, we had to do one year when I was on the board. So I don't know what you guys think, but again, we have not tried to reinvent the wheel up here. We do a lot of research, which we did on the marijuana, and took the best of some other towns. And I think that this makes all the sense in the world to adopt Duxbury's language.
Yeah,
What do you guys think?
I think it's good. I think it's a way to do it, and let the selectmen make that decision when they post the warrant or they open the warrant.
How do they do it in Abington?
I think the language is it's the first Monday in April, but there isn't a time on it.
Yeah. So I mean, we would just specifically ask.
Just the first.
So we
Monday.
have Duxbury, Abington, and Rock.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I'm wondering if maybe we just change the first line of ours to match Duxbury's, except it would be the annual town meeting shall be held on the first Monday in May of each year at the hour and location designated by the select board. And then continue on maybe with the rest of what we currently have.
Makes sense to me.
This
Yeah, it
is,
makes sense to me too.
Yeah.
Is that a motion?
I second it.
Chief, you got anything to say for yourself?
No. I.
We haven't voted. So that is a motion. Seconded. All those in
Seconded,
favor?
he seconded.
Yeah, I know. I'm pointing that way. My house.
Tape recorder can't see who you're pointing to.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Just let it be noted that there are 4 members here and that the 5th, Tim Greno, is not available.
And we had 2 distinguished guests.
We have 2 distinguished guests.
That would be you guys.
And are we going to discuss this? Does this have something to do with the meeting?
Yeah, it does have something to do with the meeting. So it's for further review. So Mr. Lynham, who was here, former town administrator, hold on. There, do you want to speak about it, Frank, or do you want me to
Sure.
speak? I turn the floor over to Frank Lynham.
As after retiring, I had an opportunity to speak to a number of people regarding the conduct of town meeting and how things were acted on and voted. And there seemed to be a fairly strong interest in changing the way the finance committee is appointed. And certainly I had no issue with changing. So I did a survey of all elected finance committee communities. So what you have here is the results of the survey. All but one community responded, and their method of election and their finance committee bylaws are attached to this report, one on each page. The popular approach seems to be annual election. There are some that elect at town meeting, but most of the elected communities are annual election for 3 years. I think there's way too much importance in the role of the advisory committee to leave it from one person to make all appointments. And that's my reason for doing the research and my reason for submitting it to this committee to consider reviewing and making a recommendation on an approach that would involve changing the finance committee to an elected board.
So first, I just want to say thank you, Frank, for bringing this to us. Frank did a tremendous amount of research. There are an awful lot of towns that were researched. I've read this briefly. I haven't read the whole thing. But I was curious. I was more curious about what the other towns did as opposed to getting into the minutia of the thing. And you're right. Most of them are elected. So what I would suggest, rather than have a full-blown discussion about it today, because
I submit this for review.
correct, it's been submitted. I had the opportunity to see it a while ago, but it wasn't on the agenda, and everybody needed to see it and review it before we can bring it up at another meeting.
okay.
So I don't think. I think that this needs to be acted on next because I don't think that there's anything else in the queue at the moment, but there could be. There could be something similar to this in the queue in the near future.
I will tell you that I considered surveying appointed communities, which are the rest of the 351 towns. But I decided not to on my own perspective because I get a very strong sense when I go to town meeting. The town meeting members are very reluctant to give up any control they already have, as evidenced by efforts to change the treasurer, collector to an appointed position, and the
Shocking.
Board of Public Works Commissioners to an appointed position. So why would we attempt to remove the authority from one individual and pass it on to a board? If you want objectivity, that's the way to go.
Falmouth has 15 members.
Imagine.
Right. That'd be a good way to get nothing done.
Right?
You sure we don't have a vacancy?
So is the Whitman Finance Committee now full?
Oh,
I believe it is.
I'm not sure.
Why?
Yes, they actually brought on 2 new people.
270.
Yes, I believe it is full now at this
I told
point.
you it was with.
265.
I told you it was
Because
with.
it seems,
Yeah.
Who won?
When
course, I've been retired. when I've
been.
been retired for 16 years, it seemed like a lot of times there was vacancies.
Correct.
There weren't a lot of people knocking down the door
I'm
to
no
become
longer
finance committee
Right.
members,
I
I would
agree.
think.
I
No,
agree.
you know why? Because it sucked being on the finance committee. They were brutal. It was a very, I mean, I did a year.
Yep.
And it was, couldn't wait to find an excuse to not be on the committee anymore.
I used to go and present.
Now I get paid to sit there.
I did 6 years on the finance committee.
Mr. Lynham held me back on one opportunity where I was going to kill one.
Yeah.
Oh,
I remember that.
So
strike that from the minutes.
However, I don't know that it'll get any better because as far as the people that are going to want to run for this position, probably the same people that get appointed for it. It's not, again, it's one of probably the hardest working committees.
It is.
Frank, is there a difference between the one you had given me and this one?
No, it's just formatted differently.
It's the old form.
And I added the first page.
Okay, because I knew something was different. So what I would suggest is that we take all this work that Frank did, and it's a lot of it, and review it and set another meeting date and come in and discuss it again. Does the time of the meeting doesn't need to go before the planning board for a public hearing?
No, because it's government.
It's government. It's not a specific
No.
zoning. Correct. So there is a difference. What needs to go for a public hearing with the planning board?
Right.
And I would think that the same would be this would not need to go to the planning board.
Correct. It's government.
Because it's government. There is a difference between the way that they do those. Do we want to set up another meeting? I mean, it's coming into a tough time of the year.
I have a question on this. Frank, you said something about the other 351 cities and towns. How many cities and towns did you?
I surveyed all the elected. There were 28,
All the elected what?
all 28 towns that elect their finance
Okay.
committee.
And statewide, do we know how many towns have appointed finance
The
committees?
rest are appointed.
Oh, they are. So these are the only.
Out of 351 cities would be different, right?
Cities would be different.
So we could deduct
Yeah.
anybody who has a city council or town council.
Yeah.
Town councils, like.
Town
has a
council
town
works like a city,
So
so
they wouldn't have a finance committee like.
they would still have an advisory board. By law, if you tax more than $1 million a year, you must have
Some
a
sort of.
finance committee or advisory board.
But these are the only communities, Ashfield to Worthington, that are elected.
Correct.
Okay.
Does anybody have any idea when they want to meet? I mean, do we want to meet in November or do you want to meet in December? What do you want to do?
I don't have a problem if we meet like at this time
Right.
of day.
I don't either.
You know, it's fine.
Okay, hold on here.
Just for the sake of, would it be something that we'd want on a warrant this year or for town
Right.
meeting?
Well, you're really running out of
I
time.
started the noon meetings.
But I like them. I'm in favor of the new.
The noon meeting's
Encourage
great.
all the committees that I actually want to attend and to meet during the day.
Yeah, daylight hours.
If I don't want to attend, I
It
don't
had
meet
to
at
be
night.
before 4.
Wait, I want to see.
Come to think of it, I started it during COVID.
Good decision.
All meetings should be at noon. Wait, I'm just trying to see when I'm.
Sure.
When you're in state
Exactly.
and country.
I'm going to be joining the ranks of you retired people soon. All right, so do we want to meet towards? Oh, that's Thanksgiving.
Are we looking at Wednesdays?
Sure. November 4th. 19th.
December 3rd?
Wait, December? December 3rd would work.
It's a Tuesday, but it's fine with me. It works.
Oh, I'm in 25, sorry. Let me back up here.
You want to meet the first week in December?
That's fine.
December 4th?
December 4th.
What day is that?
That's a Wednesday.
Perfect.
December 4th, Wednesday, December 4th at noon.
Okay.
Wednesday, 12/4 at noon. Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor of meeting Wednesday, December 4th at noon, say aye.
Right?
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Nope.
Oh,
May I interrupt? I just want to clarify on the change that we made to the bylaw that was suggesting only deals with section 70-1 under date and time, poll hours. Everything else in the bylaw would remain unchanged. We were just talking about a change to that one
Correct.
particular section. I just wanted that noted.
Unless it's hidden in there somewhere else.
For the time.
Yeah.
Just do a global search for 7.
And I don't think that it is. So.
Global delete of 7 o'clock. And
Great,
if you
that's all I
accidentally
have.
delete the finance committee while you're in there, well, that's okay.
Believe me, that thought is
there's a motion to
foreign to
adjourn.
me.
All those in favor? Aye.
I